Hey everybody, it's Chloe Baggins.
And I am Bushido.
What's with the double fist action?
Double fist action, so everyone knows that I am Mr. Bushido to all of you.
It looks like you're trying to drive a car.
10 and 2 action.
Like a grandma.
Hey, I got a clean driving record.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, today we're talking about WANDAVISION, episode 3, and
you were right. In our last review of episode 2, you predicted that the aesthetic of each episode will transition to a new decade of sitcoms, and now we are in the 70s.
Very Brady Bunch, intro. Even the music was different this time.
Clothing, the whole house is different yet again.
It was WANDAVISION in color.
In color.
In color. I really liked this one as far as the way it was filmed. The jokes are very cheesy still.
Yeah, that's part of the charm. I mean, if you go back, if you watch sitcoms from that era, they're very, very Susie Homemaker type of sensible.
They're clean.
Yeah.
They're G.
Yeah.
Rated G.
And the big focus of this episode was her having twins. That was the big, story arc in this one episode.
But if you didn't read the comic book, you weren't guessing that there was going to be twins.
Yeah, for people who don't know, where they're pulling these stories from, House of M from the 2000s, Wanda has twins, at least in this simulated version of her own personal matrix.
They were named the exact same thing that they were named in House of M, Billy and Tommy.
Right.
So that kind of was the gist of it. I mean, it was a short episode again.
Yet again, and it's just kind of once everything gets going and things get juicy, it's like, oh, don't cut the credits, and then boom, red credits, you gotta wait another week. So that's another killjoy, which I'm not a fan of, it's like, you just had the revelation. And the big revelation was, it's the first time post Age of Ultron that Quicksilver, her twin brother Pietro, is actually mentioned.
Ever.
Ever. And he, I don't think he was mentioned once after Age of Ultron. She just kind of, it always showed her kind of trying to move on, find her place in the world. But here they actually mention him by name. And it was the girl Geraldine, the neighbor that walks in and helps her deliver the twins, that brings him up. And she actually says verbatim, Ultron killed him. And that's kind of like, whoa. And it's like, there's little things like that where the simulation, again, I call it another glitch in the Matrix, starts to creep into what's going on in her fantasy.
So it kind of confirmed. It didn't really necessarily say it was a fantasy or...
Right. That's what I'm calling it at this point.
But towards the end of the episode, Geraldine gets kicked out.
By Wanda.
In a time continuum type of thing. And...
it shows her flying through the border of that reality into modern day reality. And as she does that...
it cuts from
4:3 into widescreen. You're like, wow, we're back in reality now. And it's kind of cool that it actually shows there's a physical, ethereal border of where Westfield begins and ends, and then where...
a boundary.
That's what I said.
No, you said border.
Border?
It's a boundary.
Boundary. Yeah, boundary.
Anyway, sorry.
No, but yeah, that's really cool that they're showing slowly more like how this little world, this little microcosm is set up in relation to everything else.
Microcosm.
That's a university word. I did good in school.
Wow.
I did.
Microcosm.
Yep.
Anyway. So, what did you guys think of this episode? I know we just started a TikTok handle / channel, and we got a lot of feedback about how much people didn't really like WandaVision this far. And,
surprisingly.
I mean, it was mixed. It was like a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's
a
like,
lot of
you know,
people understand that, you know, you're just getting started and you're not going to have Avengers type action fighting
or end of the world stakes. I think a lot of people are just so used to, like, whenever something Marvel comes out, they're going to expect some over the top, bombastic, you know, crazy special effects action.
Well, yeah, Black Panther started that way.
All
Spider-Man, yeah, they've all started that way. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's interesting. It's good to throw everybody off, you know?
yeah, there's definitely Marvel does things right always.
Yeah. So it's like, what y'all freaking out about? You know, it's gonna pay off.
While I didn't particularly love the first episode, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it either. Again, I think that our consistent criticism is they're too damn short. And I know they're probably trying to mimic, like, hey, it's a TV sitcom setup, and those TV sitcom episodes are traditionally a half an hour long, but it's like, dude, you can't give us the revelation at the last 6 minutes and then cut us off for another week.
Not even 6 minutes. It was like the last 30 seconds.
I know. Like when Geraldine said, you know, Ultron killed Pietro, I was like, whoa, that's huge. No one else has said that.
It was like we got sucked back into the present time.
Yeah, and what's really cool too is that in terms of Elizabeth Olsen's acting, you can tell, like, the way she talks and her mannerisms, she's very, like, over the top Susie Homemaker.
Well, she's trying to fit in.
She's trying to fit in, but then when she snaps back to herself,
she's cold.
I mean, she's cold. You can feel, like, the darkness coming through. Like, she's getting mad. She's like, don't mess up my world. This is where I want to stay, and everyone's trying to mess it up. And it's just like...
That kind of explains the whole beekeeper.
Yeah, like, nothing about the beekeeper this episode, but...
No, but she didn't want it to mess up her dream. So it's kind of like when we're having these really awesome dreams and we're just, like, fighting to stay in that one...
And then the alarm goes off, you're like, no, go back, go back, go back. I was saving the universe, go back.
Or flying.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, it was, yeah.
I legit thought, when Vision came back in wondering, where's Geraldine, I thought Wanda vaporized the hell out of her, the way she was looking at her, telling her that you need to go. I thought Wanda just, like, snapped her fingers. She just, you know.
Well, it is Disney Plus.
That's true. That's true.
Not to mention, they show her on the trailer for, like, other decades.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I noticed that.
I didn't know, so I'm like, oh my god, I think Wanda like winked this person out of existence, for God's sake. But it was cool that she literally got thrown out of the Matrix as well. I keep calling it the Matrix because I don't know what else to call it. This is her own personal ideal world, you know what I mean? And everyone's trying to snap her out of it. She clearly doesn't want to go. You know, she wants this. And so another thing to mention is the neighbor. He's kind of like the neighbor and the doctor. They're like trying to tell Vision, hey, things aren't right. We're trying to get out of this. We're here against our will. And that lady Agnes, I feel like she's part of Hydra. She's in on it because she doesn't want people to tell them what's going on.
Or to ask too many questions.
Yeah. And then we got to talk about the commercial.
Oh, yeah.
The commercial of
Hydra Soak?
Of the Hydra Soak, of that mom that shows her stress out over her
Do
life.
you need to pull yourself out of reality?
Yeah, so it's like,
is that what they did to Wanda?
Is that what they did to Wanda? Is it something that Wanda found out about and willingly signed up for? Because she's like...
Do you want to pull yourself out of reality, Wanda?
Yeah, and it's like, after Endgame, what does she really have? Captain America's an old man. He's retired. Yeah. Tony Stark's dead.
Wait. Captain America's an old man who looks like Joe Biden. Can we place the picture here?
Yeah. So it's like, what did... And Hawkeye, he's retired with his family, at least before the Hawkeye series starts up. So it's like, who...
At this very point in time right now,
yeah,
he's retired.
At this point in time in the show, he's retired. Where else does she have to go?
She has no family.
Vision is gone.
She literally is alone.
She is all by herself. And we don't know the state of the Avengers. But it's like, did she willingly sign up for this simulation, this fantasy, this version of the Matrix?
And is she going to hold true to the comic book and become a very angry person?
Yeah, like when they rip her out, in the comic books, when they ripped her out, she said, at the quote, it's no more mutants. And of course, in House of M, that's all the X-Men and the Avengers are together. She winks mutants out of existence. So what is she going to do in this version? And is that going to play into Doctor Strange potentially having...
Is that how they're going to bring in the X-Men?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Everyone's like crossing their fingers.
Oh, well, they did confirm X-Men is transitioning into the MCU.
Yeah, of course.
So, is this how they're going to start introducing them?
That's what people are hypothesizing. Ooh. And of course, none of this is solid. This is us just nerd hypothesizing, going back and forth with what we've read in comic books and what we've seen so far in the show, and like based on the timeline set forth by the MCU. But it would be really cool. It would be really cool to see what happens.
And they know what they're doing.
They know what they're
doing. I totally
doing,
trust Kevin Feige.
Like our criticisms aren't so much so like the content of the show. It's just they're too damn short.
Agreed. I do like how they're kind of covering every decade. I'm really looking forward to see what they do for the 80s.
Yeah, because we grew up in the 80s, so it's like, man, I wonder what show they're going to try and copy out of the 80s.
There could be Webster, Family Ties.
Yeah, Family Ties would be a good one. Growing Pains would be a good one, too.
Facts of Life.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Punky Brewster.
There's so many they can pull from the 80s.
Oh, my God. Elf.
Yeah.
I wish they would have kept that one going.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
So what would you rate the episode?
This one lost points for being so short.
Too short.
Too short.
Especially with the whole Ultron line drop, man. It's like,
yeah.
Whoa, that's just like a shock out of the simulation. It's like, wow, this is real.
I think I'm gonna rate this one a 7 out of 10 Bagginses.
Yeah.
It was good, just not good enough.
Could have been better if it was longer.
Yeah, I feel like there's just... She was pregnant, and they literally speak to the fact that 12 hours later, and she's already...
Not even 12 hours later.
Well, he said, what's the baby supposed to look like at 12 hours?
Oh, yeah.
12 hours later, and she's already like 3 or 4 months old.
Right.
Because that's when he talks about being a proud papaya instead of papaya.
Yeah.
And then a few hours after that, and she's already giving birth. So, yeah, I feel like they sped through that one a little bit. They could have included a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah. It just left me with too many questions.
Yeah.
My thirst for MCU knowledge was not satiated.
I know, and it also revealed that she is clearly part of SWORD, because she had the emblem on her necklace. Even Wanda calls it out, like, what is that? And she didn't want to tell her what it was,
What, she couldn't remember either. Maybe.
So it's like Geraldine was sent in, maybe by Nick Fury to snap Wanda out of, so.
What would you rate this?
I'd rate it a 7 out of 10 also. A highlight for me is just watching Paul Bettany just kind of soak up this crazy character development that we never imagined Vision having on screen, because Vision was such a, cold, stoic, trying to be human robot, fall in love with Wanda. But now he's like playing goofy, soon-to-be dad. Now he's a dad, drunk magician. I'm loving Paul Bettany. He's doing an amazing job.
He is really doing
especially knowing that you're still really Vision. But then that makes me also wonder, when the simulation is over, what is this construct of Vision she's talking to? Is he all just made up? Because the other players in the simulation are clearly interacting with Vision without Wanda being there. So it's like, who is this Vision? Is it fake? Is Vision part of her simulation too? Or is this like another construct of Vision to help manipulate Wanda more? I don't know. So that's just me throwing my ideas out as we wait in anticipation for episode 4, which will clearly be in the 80s, and that'll be really cool. So,
with that being said, find us on TikTok. We're really enjoying it. You can actually ask us questions and we will respond as soon as we see the questions. We've already started to get some really cool questions, like which is better, Nintendo or Sega? So feel free to comment down below.
Subscribe to us here, man. Help us get to 1,000.
Yes, we are still going with that. Like and subscribe, click the bell so you get subscription notifications. Follow us on Instagram. There's our handle.
Boom.
Boom.
And always be good to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and no matter what, be excellent to each other.
And Wakanda forever.
And ever.